I knew a guy who started off exterminating. He started off with one can, started spraying houses. He started noticing, he had different techniques that other exterminators didn't have. Started with him and his son. Grew a multi-million-dollar business of doing the dirty work of what people didn't want to do. All right? So as an entrepreneur and as you're looking for businesses, you're looking for ideas and things that are generally things that people don't want to do. All right? For example, landscaping is a job people don't like doing. People don't like cutting grass. That's why landscapers make so much money. All right? That's why they make so much money. So it's finding, a good idea, and if you're able to provide that service, can you do it? All right? And if you can't do it, do you have people around you that can do it? All right? So it's definitely understanding what your limitations are. All right? Now, the good thing is, in most cities, most universities, and most community groups, they have free entrepreneurship classes or free classes on how to start a business. All right? And I implore everybody, at the end of this cast, just take a look, whatever city you're in, and find out what colleges or what universities or what community groups have programs for people that are interested in starting businesses. Small women business groups. Some of the business schools in America, they have programs to help entrepreneurs start. They were ripping us off for years, so they're going to give something back. So we got to take what they give us. All right. So they have these classes. Like for example, I know in Philadelphia, for example, UPenn, Wharton School of Business, they have free entrepreneurship class. They have free entrepreneurship workshops. Organization called SCORE, SCORE. They have free seminars. They give you spreadsheets. They hook you up with give you ideas on how to get into import, export, whatever it is. So I would say the first thing to do is take advantage of these free classes. They're free.
So would that be placed under resources?
Yeah, that can be put on the resources. One could be like I know for example in Philly, University of Penn, Fox School of Business, which is Temple, and an organization called SCORE. Some of the chambers of commerce, I think, like the African American Chamber of Commerce and things like that, where you can at least get some free resources and things like that to get you started on your way, just to educate yourself, until you're ready to make that step. So there are free resources in the city. Now, depending on what town you're in, you might have more than other. But if you're in a major city, they have them there. Now,
just to go back, the first thing that we said, you mentioned that you start with an idea.
Yeah.
You weigh the idea, see whether one is realistic.
Yeah.
See whether it's legal, and was it anything else?
Yeah, one's realistic, two if it's legal, and three if financially you're able to afford it. Right, which could kind of be unrealistic, but if you're financially able to afford it, all right. And we mentioned that, for example, that also goes into the diamond business. I mean, you want to start, so you don't have the money to go out there and get cranes, go to Sierra Leone, dig some diamonds up, whatever. It's not realistic. So you want to start small. And we talked about the example of the man with the fruit truck. Okay, he had a fruit truck. He took an old truck, filled it with some fruit, and parked outside the street and was making some money. I never looked at his book to see how he did, but people were lining up to buy it. He got 2 fruit trucks. I guess he got tired of the trucks. He just moved to a place. All right. Now for him, that was good. He's in the fruit business. All right. And sometimes it'll take something like that to pull you in. Now, somebody on the outside might look at him and talk bad about him. This guy out there selling fruit. What's he doing? Oh, he out there selling oils. What's he doing? If he's selling premium oils and premium fruit, he's making some money. But look what people do. When you try to start your own thing, most people they get scared. Okay? They get scared. All right? Because they're afraid of failure. All right? And one thing that you learn in entrepreneurship and in life is that when you fail, you learn something from it. So you always have to learn something from your failure. If you fail in business, you learn something from it. All right? Now, one of the reasons why I can talk about this is that I failed in several businesses. Now, I've succeeded in several. but I failed in some. Now, if I didn't fail, I might not have known what to do on the next level. You know, whether you didn't get the appropriate legal help, whether you just underestimated the paperwork, all right? Because there's other, there's other factors of business which aren't the pretty aspects that you have to pay attention to. You have to pay attention to your books. So if you're out there selling, you don't know what your profit margin, how is that? I sold 10 cups of coffee today. Okay, very good. What's your profit on that coffee? You should be able to nail that. On each cup of coffee, each cup of coffee after the expenses and time and everything, because time is an expense, I make 75 cents a cup. Or you might find out that you don't. And it goes back to the Kool-Aid stand. All right? I was a Kool-Aid stand man a long time ago. All right? I got a table. I took sugar and I took some Kool-Aid packets. I went to the corner, started making some Kool-Aid. I was making money. My dad comes to me and says, so what was your profit today? I'm 7 years old. I'm like, what are you talking about with your profit? So my profit is, I made $15. All right, I'm 7 years old. I was the man. He said, no. You took my table. All right? I said, what that mean? He said, I'm not going to charge you rent, but if it was the real world, I would have charged you for that table. I'm looking at him like, but yeah, all right. So let's say you made $4. I'm going to give you the table. He said, what about the Kool-Aid? I said, the Kool-Aid's 25 cents at the store. Did you buy it? Nah, I got it from the cabinet. It was sitting there. Well, that's my Kool-Aid. You got to pay me for that. All right. What about the sugar? I said, come on now. The sugar. You're not going to buy sugar. So you didn't buy anything. You went to our cabinet, made a whole lot of money, and you're not going to kick it back. What's your profit? So I don't know. And the water. Did you pay for the water? All right. So at a young age, I learned, I really didn't make $15. I mean, he let me keep the money, but he was dead serious. And I learned something that day. Had $15, no, actually I made $20. My brother and his friends came out and stole $5 from me, all right? So I made $20, all right, and gave away $5. We took the other $15, went and bought some kites, and went flying it and went to Baskin Robbins, and we killed it all before we even got home. So by the time the speech happened, the money was gone already. So he was trying to say, well, listen, you owe me some money. You rented my table, you took my sugar, the Kool-Aid, and you took my water. And I'm 8 years old looking at him like, yo, why are you so mean? But you'd be surprised on how many grown men and grown women make these same mistakes, okay? You sell 300 cakes outside. Let's say you're outside, you're selling oils. The breakdown of how many bottles of oil can you sell, all right? And the time. What about the time? What's the price on your time? How much are you worth an hour? Because if you sold something for $200 and you spent 2 days doing it, you lost 16 hours to sell $200. So you gotta factor in your time, and that also is going to go to the point saying that, is it cheaper for me to pay somebody else to do it while I do something else? Because your time is more valuable than anything. Because time's not going to come back. Whether it's time you spend with your family or time for whatever. So you have to understand is that based on when you factor in your profit range, you got to factor in your time. So if it took you 8 hours to make $100, then basically you're looking like, man, I made less than $10 an hour on top of my other expenses. Understand? So you got to factor into all these things. These are the things behind entrepreneurship. These are the things that aren't the pretty things. These are some of the things that aren't, for lack of better term, the attractive things. All right? Because I know a lot of us, we watch this show called Shark Tank, for example. All right? And people understand about Shark Tank is a show where, and for the people who aren't watching, if you're not watching these shows, this is a problem. All right? Because they watch all these other shows, these other silly shows they got on, Love and Hip Hop and Housewives, this, whatever. They're watching all these shows, but Shark Tank, no one's watching them. And this other show called The Profit, all right, where a guy comes and he fixes business. These are shows that we're not watching. That's another thing in your household. It depends on the shows that you're watching. It's going to also dictate how you view things.